Hello, everyone. For the ones of you that just joined, we are starting in a few minutes or even seconds. I will leave the floor to my colleagues so they will present the session. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, I suppose, from many places that you have joined us. I'm very excited to welcome you to the course, Online Training on Foundations in MPD, organized by the Data Academy at the World Bank Group. I'm Ravi Kumar, Senior Program Officer at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. I'm a member of the World Bank Group Chief Statistician Office. And today I have the privilege of walking you through very briefly about what the Data Academy is, and then my colleagues will talk more about specifically what the course is and what you would experience over the next few weeks as you go through the course. So with that, let me pull up the PowerPoint I have and then walk you through the Data Academy. The course that is hosted today, on the website that you are have enrolled online is part of a new initiative at the World Bank as part of the Knowledge Bank agenda and the Data Bank agenda, and we're very excited to host series of courses on development data that enables folks to make evidence-based decision making. And as part of that, we have been able to organize these two courses in collaboration with a series of partners that you'll learn more about today. But briefly, I want to talk about the motivations for the Data Academy and why we're doing it and why we're very excited that you are all part of this journey. So as you know, currently there are many overlapping challenges that requires good quality data and a high level of capacity across various kinds of users, from data producers to data users, to make better decisions. There's climate change. We had pandemic in 2020. There's a fragility and refugee crisis. There's, of course, demographic pressures in many of our countries. And so all of this really requires us to be able to make good decisions. And for that, we need good quality data, and also we need the capacity to make decisions. And this is where the courses that you have enrolled in are very useful. As I said, under the Office of the Chief Statistician, the World Bank Group's Data Academy is the central platform for skills development in data and statistics to strengthen and promote data use and data skills. And this online platform that now you're part of, aims to make knowledge accessible in all parts of the world. And as you can see, from various regions and countries, from various professions, from academia to government institutions, to private sector, to media, to civil society, a lot of folks have joined. And so our hope is that as you take these courses, there will be other courses that you will be interested in. And of course, those will be available as well. We also welcome you to provide feedback. And with that, in interest of time, let me hand over to my very good friend and a great colleague, Trevor. Trevor, sir, over to you.
Trevor, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Exactly. Even from home.
Thank you so much. So it is really my pleasure to be here. Welcome, everybody. I co-lead a program on mobile phone data for policy, which is a World Bank program in partnership with the International Telecommunications Union, the government of Spain, and different parts of the World Bank. This program is the largest of its kind. It's currently supporting over 25 initiatives globally to put the public-private partnerships in place to use mobile phone data for statistics and policy insights. So I want to give you just a little understanding of how we will use the tools that you'll be learning about and the approaches. So our top policy areas are those that you see on the screen: tourism, social assistance during times of crisis, understanding how populations move in real time, delivering services during displacement and migration policy, understanding how people are connected digitally through their mobile phones, and transport and urban mobility. These are not the only areas, but these are the areas where the methodological guidance exists, and this is through the UN Mobile Phone Task Team, which many of the instructors and the organizations that you'll be learning from in this course are all part of this task team, so that we can bring more standards and best practices globally to the use of mobile phone data for statistics. I want to give you, just zoom out for the big picture. Over a decade ago, even close to 2 decades, we started to see the first research in the area that this could be done and this could be used. People like Marta Gonzalez and Joshua Blumenstack and Vanessa Frias Martinez, who are also part of our research pillar in this program, started doing academic research. The World Bank and others started doing a lot of pilots. And then when the pandemic hit, there was kind of a global use case. And we saw a lot more interest from governments and how to understand how the safeguards and the lockdowns and different ways that they could use this data to deliver services and vaccines where they were needed. But usually with research and pilots, when the funding dries out, the projects kind of fizzle out. And our intention with the program was to support programmatic activities that would integrate mobile phone data responsibly and safely into the national data system. We also learned that there's increasing demand from national statistical offices and governments. Close to 80% consider this a priority. So it's very much a growing area. And those countries that have used mobile phone data in certain statistics for several years, some of these countries like Estonia have been using it for over 15 years, close to 20. They have seen consistent value. They can produce the statistics much faster, 4 to 10 times faster. They get value added, they get cost savings, 2.5 times to 5 times cost savings. They get much larger sample sizes, higher resolution statistics, and less burden on respondents because they're not so dependent on surveys. And they can use surveys more strategically. So I want to just give you a sense of how our program works, our Global Data Facility Support Program. We use many of the frameworks and tools that you'll be learning in this course. We have 2 pillars. One is our operations pillar. This pillar supports the country work. We provide support to country teams. We work through cohorts so teams can learn together, countries can learn together and learn from one another. We produce training like the training that you're part of in this course, and other tools like templates for MOU partnership agreements, use cases and frameworks, all of which you'll get exposed to in this course. And of course, we also have a research pillar that continues to support research in the space and has several research streams. But when we do a country initiative, we work with the local ecosystem. And the key stakeholders in the local mobile phone data ecosystem are the mobile network operators. They are the owners of the data. These are the telecommunications companies. We also involve other key stakeholders, primarily the ICT and telco regulators, the data protection authorities, as well as the data users. Most importantly, the National Statistics Office in a lot of cases, but depending on the policy application, we have other government agencies, departments, and local stakeholders in that system. It could also include technical providers. Several of the trainers are from organizations like Flowminder, Noman, University of Tokyo, and Positium that are technical service providers. So they help to process and design the data pipelines in the countries. So this is just a stylistic version of the journey. We have the maturity framework. So countries that are just starting out, we consider those countries pre-foundation. They're just introducing the concept and what is possible with the use of mobile phone data. And they use the maturity assessment frameworks and the theory of change frameworks that you will learn about to help kind of understand where they're at and understand where they need to go, their roadmap to put this data to work for policy or statistics. Then they often use templates to formalize the memorandums of understanding, data sharing agreements, and other documentation to formalize the governance of their mobile phone data pipeline. And then there's the technical part. So some of you in this course are just taking the practitioner course. Some of you are taking the technical course. All of you will learn the tools, the frameworks, the concepts for the whole journey, but the technical course will focus on the technical aspects of provisioning a pipeline, maintaining a data pipeline, how the data is processed, as well as how to produce the algorithms for the data quality checks and other basic statistical products. From there, the countries, when they become practitioners, they're putting the data to work for at least one policy use case. Others who are more advanced, they put it to work for additional use cases, more than one, and multiple operators are in their MNO pipeline. You'll learn what those are. And of course, the World Bank is doing much more grant funding and lending. So our Global Data Facility grants, which our program has a window to award these grants, help to facilitate further operations in the World Bank to modernize statistical systems and to fund digital public infrastructure. These are our two cohorts. They're currently in flight. We plan additional cohorts in the coming years. The first one has 18 country teams and the second one has 6. And you can see the policy areas like tourism, transport, social protection, migration, disaster response that many of these are working on. As I mentioned, the cohorts two are currently in flight, and then we have additional cohorts planned for 2027, 2028. The research pillar is some of the best researchers in the space. They also have cross-cutting activities that they focus on in disaster response, in jobs, in poverty measurements, just to name a few. They also do some best practices in privacy, enhancement technologies, and other data format, more technical research activities that help to improve the value of this data. You will get pointers to some of the resources that we produce in the course. All of these are stored online in our GitHub knowledge portal. So that's the link to that. Again, it's really an exciting time to be in mobile phone data for policy. There has never been more activity and more parallel initiatives going on at this point. So we expect to see a lot more official statistics and a lot more durable pipelines and policy products coming online in the coming years. With that, I'm going to hand it over to a great colleague, Kathy Riley from Flowminder. Kathy?
Thanks so much, Trevor. And it's lovely to be able to launch these courses today. I'm going to do a quick run through of what the courses cover and give you a few hints and tips. Before I do, I'm just going to acknowledge the presence of other instructors and trainers on the course who've managed to be able to join us for this launch event today. And that includes Ayumi Arai from the University of Tokyo, Hena, who works at Noman as a data manager and senior consultant. Louisa, who's just appeared behind her, Louisa Chavez, who was also an instructor, wasn't able to join us as a panelist on this call. Hi, Louisa. Pablo Ruiz as well, a data scientist at Nomon, and Sim Esco, who is a person who helps Positium to do these projects on mobile phone data. Great. So without further ado, we do have a lot more people who were involved in setting up this training course, and you will see the information about them in the information about instructors per module. I'll just share my screen and hopefully people can see what I am seeing in front of me. Do shout if you can't. So briefly, just to acknowledge those who I've mentioned are in bold, and all the other course instructors are listed there. We will be able to provide you with these slides, and we are taking a recording. To very quickly cover off then what these training courses are covering. As you know, there are two. The first one is a practitioner's training course, which is about how to go about planning, designing, and implementing mobile phone data initiatives. It's not technical. It's much more around just having the basic introduction to understanding the data, what it is, where it is, and how you can get it, including step-by-step guidance on how to negotiate that access with the mobile network operators that Trevor mentioned earlier as key partners in these initiatives, and thinking about the infrastructure setup and how data will flow in order to go from it being produced by the users of mobile phones through to you being able to use it for an insight. We share some real world examples of how this has happened elsewhere across the world. And we also give you some access to practical planning tools and ways to think about how you will move forward to understand how you'll actually deliver this work in your context. So that's the practitioner's training course in a nutshell. The technically focused training course is much more around the details around how you might ingest, check, and process CDR data. In particular, that's the focus of the mobile phone data types that we focus on in these courses. How you will go about identifying other data sets you might need and doing combinations with these data sets, producing aggregates, producing estimates from those, and then being able to think about all the different data quality considerations you need to have along the way on that data pipeline. There's some practical hands-on application work as part of this training course, which Pablo is going to talk to us about in a minute. And that includes using the Google Colab environment and some synthetic data. And today is its launch day. So you will see when you go onto the courses on the Data Academy, this outline and all the details within it. So the general structure is a basic introduction, the policy applications, how you go about developing your partnerships with mobile network operators and negotiating that data access, considerations from the get-go around data governance and safeguards and how you build those into the work that you're doing, the pipeline architecture you will want to consider, and there are different options there, the quality, data quality and characteristics that are essential for you to think about as you go about reaching those agreements and structuring those data pipelines, and an important component around how you think about communication with regard to mobile phone data initiatives and projects. This is 100% self-paced. You are not going to have live sessions such as this one in that particular course. You have access to lots of recordings of us doing similar sessions like this last year. In the course 2, the technical training course, we cover off some of the content that I've just described. We are hoping that most people will go through that course and understand that content before doing the technical, but it may not be the case. And if it's a technical member of staff who's doing it, they may want just a quick introduction. So we've accommodated that here. We also then cover off some examples from the applications and use cases side of things, talk about the different data types that you need to think about for your mobile phone data applications, the design and build in more detail than the practitioner's training course goes into, and includes things around how you might think about multiple MNOs sharing their data and producing statistics in one through those multiple pipelines. And then privacy by design in how you go about setting up your infrastructure and your data flows, checking and cleaning your data inputs, a specific focus on that. several sessions on core technical concepts that enable us to analyze CDR data effectively, including things like continuity models, meaningful locations, and the usual environment identification. And then the real nuts and bolts around how to calculate the aggregates from CDR data and how to produce useful statistical outputs from those. This is mostly self-paced, but we have organized 5 live sessions, such as this one, to guide people through some of the technicalities about how to do this. And so you should see those in all of your sections. Now, we'll talk a little bit about this because I want to share with you some useful things to know as you interact with the Data Academy. The first thing to say is that it's been developed by the World Bank and with funding from the Spanish government, supported by ITU and delivered by Flowminder, Norman and Positium as a consultancy consortium. We've already delivered this course, these courses, both of them, through online sessions last year. So some of the content you will be seeing does refer to time periods such as September, December 2025. Forgive that, it's not that you're missing anything or that we're expecting to do something still in 2026 December. It's just that these are recordings from those, so your videos are from then. The slides for those videos are also available, but might be tricky to find. So I'm just going to show you where to find them. When you're looking at a video and watching it, if you look in the top right-hand corner, you'll be able to see a little paperclip. And if you click on that, it'll bring down a dialog box that enables you to actually click a download of the PDF of the slides that are being used by the instructor for that session. We've tried to tidy them up a little bit so that they don't get confusing and refer necessarily to past events, but we may find a couple of them still do. So that's where to find slides that are used by the presenters in the videos you're watching. Just a quick note on translation. For course 1, those slides are included in a bunch of different languages. So we do have French, Spanish, and Portuguese translations of the slides as well. And but for course 2, at the moment, the materials are only available in English. However, if you watch the videos that are part of the training course on YouTube, you can be supported with a different language using the inbuilt translation of audio recordings and the subtitles or closed captions function. So as I've demonstrated here, my talk is in English, but though you can watch the subtitles in another language. Okay, so other useful things to know, discussion forums. We have lots of learners enrolled on these courses. We have over 700 on the course 1 and over 400 on course 2. Peer-to-peer learning is encouraged in these forums, and how to find those is a combination of looking in line. So you sometimes get instructed to, say, post a self-reflection in a forum, and that's right there for you. But we also encourage you to go and have a look on the navigation bar on the left of your training course. You can find an area where it says discuss, and that's where you can access the discussion forums at any time and post a question or request some guidance from an instructor, that kind of thing. I've mentioned that there are no live instructor-led sessions for course 1, but there are for course 2. Please make a note of these. They are also, as I said, in the Data Academy content. You should be able to get all the links and everything, add them to your calendar through that. And these are the dates that we'll be running those. It will take place on WebEx, and you'll see those links, as I say, in the course navigation. One thing we do advise is that it would be really great if you can have a look at the videos I've mentioned for each of the modules for those sessions. So these are input data quality assurance and cleaning, continuity models, calculating the usual environment, calculating the foundational and core aggregates, and the quality assessment of estimates for decision making before you join the live session, because you will then have gone through the theory and understand the practical, which is why we're doing these live sessions. So we're going to be doing a demonstration of the notebooks, and I'm just showing you here how it looks. You go and have a look at the video first, and then we will launch the live sessions on those dates that I've shown you, and Pablo will be able to tell us a little bit more. So I'm going to hand over to you, Pablo, to speak. I'll carry on driving the slides.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Kathy. So yeah, I'm Pablo Ruiz. I'm a senior data scientist at Nomon. Those of you who will take the technical course, so course 2, hopefully you will see me in a couple of weeks in some of the videos, because I'm also an instructor of some of the sessions, of one session actually. And yeah, I've also been very involved in this topic that Kathy has just introduced, which are the interactive notebook activities, right? So answering a question that was actually posted in the chat just a few minutes ago, yes, like we do have some activities, so you can code and try different approaches, different methods with actual code, and apply them to mobile phone data. And these sessions, we have structured them in the course too. So in the technical course, we have, I believe it's 12 chapters in total. So a few of them, 5 chapters of them, which are, let's say, the key ones, or like the key steps of the processing pipeline of mobile phone data. We have designed these interactive notebook activities in Google Colab, right? So in these activities, we are sharing with you already in a notebook that you can actually run and you can process, and it gives you a result. But we also propose some activities, right, at the end of the notebook, so that you can actually test different approaches related to that topic, or even like run the same algorithms, but maybe with different parameters, and see how you get different results. The idea is that you get an idea of how these different processes work, and you get some intuition how applying different methodologies or again using different parameters may affect the results. But keep in mind that this is just a training tool, right? So this is not production ready environment, and the code is quite simple because we're using a synthetic data set in Brazil in this case, with just around 1,000 users, which is very far from the number of users and the amount of data that we normally have in a production environment, working with a mobile network operator, maybe with 1 million or millions of users, right? So we're leaving it quite simple here. It's simple code that you can run just to understand the different steps of the pipeline. And right now I wanted to do just a very quick demo of how you can access these notebooks and how you can access them from the Data Academy, so from the course actually, and how you can actually run them, right? So I'm going to share my screen just for a second. So this is the course view that you will see, and here so you'll see that some of the chapters, some of the sessions actually have like these interactive notebook activities. This is the activities that I'm talking about, and if you click on any of them, you'll get like this link here that you can open in Google Colab, and it will take you directly to the notebook, right? So here you will have all the code, and everything is explained here, so you can understand what we're exercise and what we can do. First of all, I'm going to switch it to English so that we can all understand. And what you can do is you can just, out of the box, you can start running the cells, right? And start like getting actual results by running the cells. And you also have the option of running all the cells at the same time here, right? And once you run the cells, right now it's a bit slow because I'm sharing my screen and so on. You can see the results that you're getting from each cell. So these results are, for example, here we're loading from the synthetic data, we're loading the cell data, and we see the cell table. Each of the cells, the mobile phone cells, has its coordinates and so on. And we also get like some graphs. So, for example, like visualizations of the registers of the events from the mobile phone data of a certain user, and explanations of, or like visualizations of the different steps of the pipeline, right? And at the end of each of these notebooks, we have normally a section with a short practical exercise in which you may use the functions that have been defined in the cells above this part to make some calculations, right? So in each case, it's a different activity, And the idea is that well, it's explained and it's here you have some guidance, but the idea is that you use those functions in some gaps that are marked here to actually get some results and try to answer some questions here. So this is what we have designed as this interactive coding activity. As I said, there are 5 interactive sessions like this. And for each of those, in case you have any doubts, we will have live sessions specifically for each of them so that we can answer any questions that you might have about them. So back to Kathy, I think.
Yes, thank you. And I tried to share my screen and it shared the wrong thing. So let me just make sure it's going to come with the right one. 1 second. Thank you. Here we go. Great. So we're nearly done. I just wanted to be able to also let you know that you do need to pass the quizzes in order to move forward. And there are certificates of completion at the end, which will be signed by the World Bank and issued to people who do fully complete the course. So I think that's it, really. It's over to us to do Q&A. So I'll stop sharing now and ask Naomi if there are particular questions you think we should be answering from the group.
Thank you so much, Katie, and everyone for the presentation. It was great, actually. For now, we have one question from Leonard, who's asking, do we have to coding at some point? So maybe beside the exercise, if there is something directly that they need to do. I will leave it the floor to you to that. Thank you.
You mean do they actually do coding? Is that the question? Is coding?
I think so.
Pablo, do you want to take this as a technical trainer?
Yeah, so yeah, the idea is that you do like some very basic coding. It's up to you how deep you get into each of the exercises, because we leave like some options open for the learner. And even if you don't know or don't have much experience in coding, in some exercises we just leave it to the learner to just like pick some functions that are already defined for you, and maybe just change some parameters on them and see the results, right? So so yeah, we have defined it in a way in which there is a bit of coding, and you can maybe go as deep as you want in that sense. But also it's kind of friendly for those of you who are not so used to daily coding.
Thank you so much, Pablo. And we have another question about the duration of the course in total. We put between 18 and 20 hours in our own page, but actually, just so you all know, the courses are all self-paced, so it will be up to you and about the time that you have your agenda to finish it. So there's not a set time to finish it, and please feel free to enjoy it as much as possible as soon as you have free time to do that, of course. Then from Nicolette, there's a question about the foundation course, if there will be a follow-up in the future. I will leave it to you, Katie, but I think we can suggest people to first follow the foundations and then the technical. Is that right?
Exactly. So the topics in the first course that launched last week and is the design and implementation for practitioners. That's a sort of more basic introduction and gives you a strong foundation. And then what Pablo's just been talking about is much more the technical course. So that is the follow-on course if you've done that already. Beyond these two at the moment, we aren't currently planning another one. Trevor's welcome to come in and tell me otherwise. But for the moment, what we're trying to do is uplift a whole cohort of people to understand both how to go about planning and designing, and then how to go about some of the basics of the technical training. There may well be opportunity for future training courses, but these are the two we have on the plate at the moment.
Okay, thank you so much. Then David is asking if may you be able to share a software that we may use as a common learning platform?
I'm not entirely sure what the question is asking. So the software that's just been shown is the Google Colab environment, and that you'd have to download into your own environment, correct? In your own computer. Hey, Pablo. I'm not quite sure that that's what they're asking though. The common learning platform internally to their organization. is very much up to them as to which platform they want to use, or which if they want to use SharePoint or whatever. Somebody else want to take it? Trevor, did you have a?
Yeah, I was just going to add that again, like this software is quite simplistic, so that it's easy for this training. But we have different links during the technical course that point to some open data or open repositories, like some repository that many of the actual partners of this build for Eurostat in a multi-MNO project. So we have resources that point there in case you're interested in looking at the more, let's say, production-ready code. We also provide some resources in that sense.
One clarification, I think with the Colab, there are ways you can pull that in Notebook if you're running Colab or if you're running GitHub, but you don't necessarily need to do that. You can just run the notebooks in your browser as well.
Great, thank you so much to all of you. And it seems we have just another question more from Offense. Sorry for the pronunciation, I hope it's correct. They're asking if they can move from course 1 to the technical course. I think they're referring to maybe they have enrolled wrongly to one course instead of the other. So feel free to jump in, but from my side, I would suggest you to, of course, choose the course that best suits your needs. So don't worry if you enroll to one instead of two, or vice versa. All our courses are free for enrollment, so feel free to enroll and follow the course that you need to when you want to.
Yeah, and also just to add, we haven't made signing up for the technical course a prerequisite to be that you've done course 1. You can sign up for both at the same time and swap between the two, but it is advisable to have, if you're new to this work, to have gone through course 1's practical training first, in terms of like how a practitioner would set up a project like this. It gives you much more of the basics and the introduction, and then move to the technical. But if you are familiar with all of the content that I sort of gave an overview of for course 1, by all means dive straight into course 2.
Thank you so much, Katie. Very nice suggestion. And for now, we don't have any other questions, so I will directly ask our participants if they would like to share any other doubts, questions, a curiosity in the chat. Otherwise, I will leave it to you to close the session. And thanks again to everyone for the contribution and the presentation. It was very helpful. It seems not. We're receiving a lot of thank you. So happy that you all enjoyed the session.
Okay, and maybe if I could just come in for just a quick thank you all for joining us today for the launch of these 2 courses. We're really thrilled to embark with you, along with you on this journey as you seek to unlock the potential of mobile phone data for statistics and policy. And a special thanks goes out to this incredible team, both on the Data Academy and the incredible technical team that is working globally. I'm talking about Flowminder, Positium, University of Tokyo, and Noman, as well as the International Telecommunications Union and the World Bank technical staff that put together the content that are supporting these initiatives. It's really with your deep commitment to mobile phone data that this is really turning into standards, and it's really going to transform the real-time insights that we can get from this data, and really the economic models make it much more cost-effective and efficient as we go forward. So you as a community will be able to connect with these experts as learners and with each other. Hopefully many of you are already involved in country or other initiatives with mobile phone data, and you'll be able to share those in the discussion forums and to ask questions of the experts and to one another. You will have, I believe, access for a long time. You know, you finish the courses to get your certificate, but you will through either the course or through the knowledge portal, have access to the templates, to the frameworks, to the tools, and in some cases to the software that was mentioned. There's a lot of open source software and the notebooks that give you examples that you can use and copy and repurpose for your own endeavors to integrate mobile phone data into national data systems. So with that, we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming live sessions, to answering your questions in the discussion forums, or connecting in other ways. Thank you to all the presenters today, to the Data Academy team for your support, to the other World Bank staff who have supported this session. And I think I'll rest my case. Just have a wonderful day. Enjoy the course.
Thank you, Trevor. Thanks a lot. I would just close it. Remember, everyone, that we will upload the recording of this session later this week, as well as the presentation. So you'll find everything there. And for any other questions, you can reach out to us via email. I left the email address in the chat. So for any question, we are there and we are happy to support you. And thanks again to Trevor, Katie, Pablo, and everyone here today who presented, and all the ones of you that collaborated to create this course together. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.